But yes, next question.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Sandra. How are you doing?
Good, Sandra. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Isn't this ridiculous? Look what we're doing. We're thousands of miles away. We're talking to each other face to face, real time. This would have gotten us all burned as witches 100 years ago.
My question is, I took some theater classes here at the local college, one being a voice class, and was wondering, did you do the same? Or were you just self-taught your whole life?
No, I was really lucky. I was just born a good parrot. You know, there's a lot of guys that do what I do that are brilliantly creative, and they practice different voices, and they practice different things and different accents, and they come like SpongeBob. Tom Kenny is a good example. Tom Kenny, she's all the way at the back of the room. She leaves. Hello? Hello? Anyway.
She went.
So, you know, like Tom Kenny, who does SpongeBob, is amazingly creative. He'll come up with new voices and different voices. Billy West. Billy West is also amazingly creative. He comes up with new things all the time. I'm not one of those guys. I kind of listen to the old cartoons, the old Warner Brothers stuff, the old Disney stuff, the old, you know, the old TV shows. Oh my God, you cannot believe the characters and therefore character voices that are available on shows in the 1950s. I got, you know, someone will say, do an old Western coot, you know, some crazy old Western gold miner. Well, okay, I do something sort of like this. You don't want no gold miner around here. Get out of your way. But, whoa, I found me some gold. Well, everybody thinks, oh, that's a hilarious voice. That's great. We'll use that. Well, the person I'm working for is 24 years old and has no idea. I'm just doing Gabby Hayes. I'm not even changing it. It's just a guy named Gabby Hayes that used to be in the... And he was just an old crazy guy who talked like this. Oh, yeah, find some gold around here. You know, so they think I'm coming up with something new and different and amazing, and I'm just recycling. Yeah, that's it. I'm green. I'm vocally green. I'm recycling, yeah. I'm just taking old voices, you know, I'll do an old strutting cowboy, and I'll do it about half me and half John Wayne, and they're like, well, mister, you want to come on out of there before I got to plug you full of lead? And they're like, oh, it's perfect. I'm like, it's John Wayne. You know, but, so that's where I'm just a good mimic, and I always am very honored when someone says, wow, you know, that's some amazing voices. I'm like, man, not all of them are mine, so don't be too impressed. But yeah, you gotta, I never took classes because of that. Well, I guess I did. My classes were I Love Lucy and El Dorado and you know, all those wonderful old silly 50s sitcoms that couldn't stand a chance today because they're just so dorky. But there's one guy, for instance. There was one guy, I think his name was Everett Horton. And he would show up, and this never happens today, but the same actor would show up sometimes 4 or 5 times in a season of I Love Lucy as 4 or 5 different characters. Now imagine you're watching, I don't know, what's the big show today? Name one. What's the biggest show on TV? CSI. Imagine CSI and the exact same actor with the same voice and the same look and the same mannerisms shows up 5 different times, but he's 5 different people, and somehow no one notices? It'd be ridiculous. You'd just start laughing. You go, wait a minute, that's so-and-so. But back in the day, television had just come from live theater. And that was real common in live theater for the same actor to play different roles. And you just accepted it because they couldn't really have a cast of 53 people in a play. So they'd have the same guy doing 5 different roles. So there's one guy named Everett Horton who showed up every once in a while, and he was hilarious. Nowadays, anybody that saw him was like, oh, that's just wrong, because he clearly was just being a stereotypical, really almost insulting caricature of a gay person. which is what he was doing. Back then, nobody knew any gay people. Well, they thought they didn't know any gay people. So, yeah. So this guy would get away with this character 4 or 5 times a season on 3 different shows, and nobody figured out that he was just being flamboyantly gay, and they just thought it was a funny character. So you get this guy, he has this voice like this. He's like, Lucy would come into the bank to take us the money. And he'd be the teller. He's like, yes, Mrs. McCall, what can I do for you today? She said, well, I'd like to take out $20. You don't say. And she go, yes, I did. Well, you don't say. You don't say. And she'd turn around and go, what did I say? And he'd go, I don't know, she didn't say. And people thought, people in America were watching TV and thought, oh, what a nutty character he is. Phyllis, you've got to go look at this nutty guy. He's so very, I don't know, happy. So very, I don't know, he's so gay, like your uncle. He's just always so gay. Which is where that word came from, of course, because of stereotypes like that. So, but yeah, you just watch some old 1950s TV shows. And you'll see some characters you would never have imagined are on TV. You're like, they can't put that on TV today. And some of them are really negative, like that guy. He was a negative stereotype of a gay person that would never have that on TV today, unless he was supposed to be like, a silly hairdresser or, a designer or something. But it'd be like putting a black person. They did that back then too in the 1950s. They put a black person on as a caricature, and you'd look at it today and go, they can't do that, can they? But they did. But it's not right, but it sure makes for a nice study to be able to look at that. I mean, honest to God, I'm no joking, I get jobs probably 5 or 6 times a year as African Americans. And because they can't see me, they don't know that I'm not black. And I got it listening to Sanford and Son, an old TV series, and The Cosby Show, cartoon. So sometimes people come up and say, hey, we want you to do he's a big old guy, his name is Rico, and he's supposed to sound like a black guy. So now if I cover up the camera, you don't know who I am. You say, wait a minute, you want me to go down and back home and do what? You crazy mother. So again, and that's one of the things that is so wonderful about voiceover work is it doesn't matter how tall you are, it doesn't matter how short you are, it doesn't matter what country you come from. All that matters is that you can do the voice. And if you can do the voice, you get the job. Actually, voiceover work was the first area of the entertainment industry that was integrated. Because none of us cared back in the day, and none of them cared. It was before my time, but no one cared whether you were black or white or anything. If you had the best voice for that character, they hired you. And one of my best examples is that today, okay, you guys all know Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, right? Okay, Fred Flintstone's supposed to be this great big guy, and he's got this great big voice. Hey, hey, Barney.